Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, D Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. Thank you guys for joining us live Tuesday, June 11th, or next day on podcast, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, all those good places. Remember, hook you guys up, show some love, rate, subscribe, review, and also much love to y'all watching live in the chat. We appreciate you guys coming here for the show. We got a good one for you today. We've been hooked on the NBA Finals. We're going to talk about the Finals, the Celtics, the Mavericks, the Porzingis injury, all that good stuff, plus a little WNBA controversy and WNBA action. But first, D, what it do?
What it do, baby? Happy Tuesday. Man, we took a week off, and I feel like we missed out on so much content that we could have talked about. But it was one of those like, hey, it's the middle of the summer. Well, not even summer, but like we're almost at summer. Let's just give us some time to let's go every other week. It's going to be slow. All we got is leading up to the finals and baseball to talk about. And then lo and behold, the earth set on fire when it came to sports talk. So we missed out on an opportunity to go over a lot of stuff. So we'll definitely recap it today.
That's the dirty little secret in the sports media industry. In the summer, you see them talking about training camp starting in July, NFL training camp, because they have nothing to talk about. We took the week off and goddamn was it popping. But we're here, we're back.
Well, the funny part too is there's always like the way that the media is going to try to like force feed something. And it's like, if we can talk about the Cowboys, we'll talk about the Cowboys. If we can talk about the Lakers, we'll talk about the Lakers. And
Aaron
then
Rodgers too.
Aaron Rodgers, everything else is secondary. And during like the lead up to, I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, the lead up to the NBA Finals, the whole news breaks with the coach for UConn potentially being the coach for the Lakers. It's like the Lakers been out of the playoffs for 5 months. Can we just give it a break? Like, I'm a Lakers fan, but I was exhausted hearing about it. Like, Hurley, if you're going, cool, but like, let's worry about the finals, man.
I was so pissed. I'm stoked in the finals. I'm all about eating the content for the finals, and literally first two segments the other day after game 2. Segment number 1, Lakers, Dan Hurley. Segment number 2, Caitlyn Clark, women's basketball. It's the goddamn finals, guys. Let's get into it. Let's talk about D. Let's stop talking bullshit. Let's get into the finals.
Get it.
You know what they say, D?
So,
the series has not started yet. Finals have not started.
A home team loses. You know, that's the dumbest saying in the history of sports, because when you get swept or you're down 3-0, it's kind of late to start saying, well, the series is about to start. So let's recap how game 1 went first, and then we can kind of talk about game 2, since that was a little bit more interesting.
I mean, game 1 was a complete blowout. I think for me, just in a totality from the first 2 games, what really has stuck out to me is this. Personally, I've seen a lot of Celtics game this year. So far, I think their offense has been at like a B level the first 2 games. Not super impressive. It's been really good. Ball's been flowing. For me, Celtics defense has been absolutely out of this world. It is what has really kept them in this thing right now. And it's crazy. You know, you look at these two games for the Celtics games. I know I'm jumping to both games. Sorry, D. But game 2, they shot absolutely abysmal. I don't know the exact number. I think it was like low 30s, if not like high 20% from 3. But their defense in both games have really kept them into the series and give them the 2-0 lead.
Well, for the C's, they're a volume shooting team. They shot just as many threes as they shot twos in game 1. Literally 42 threes attempted, 38% total. But essentially, the defense that they're playing this is the difference between regular season and having a 7-game series. Is you can just game plan. I appreciate you being here on Facebook. You can game plan for how someone plays, and what they're doing is they're letting Luka try to shoot, right? Don't let him get assists, because when he gets cooking with, 5, 6, 7, 8 assists and he's dropping 30, it makes other people involved. So they're taking away the dunker spot, the lob that they've had 40 plus lobs in all of. Oh, go ahead.
Quick stat on the dunker spot lob threat. Over the first 2 games, the Dallas Mavericks have successfully completed 1 dunk on a lob.
So I know you're the analytics guy, but I actually listened in and read on this one. 45 or 46 lobs between series 1 or round 1 and the Western Conference Finals for the Mavs. 1 in this series so far. So like they're taking away that, obviously, to Gafford and to Lively. Lively is obviously coming back from a neck injury too. So like that's tough to see exactly where he's at for it. But Derrick Jones Jr., he's not in the paint for them to catch lobs and whatnot. But what they're doing is they're very sticky to Jones, to Lively, to Anybody that basically comes off the bench for the Mavs, and they're just like, hey, Luka, we're gonna let you score 30, we're gonna let you score 40. Game 1, he had 1 assist, right? And then with Kyrie, they're sending help. They're just like, if you get one-on-one past me, we're just gonna double team you when you get into the paint. It's gonna a whole bunch of length that's in there, make you have to be the person that finds somebody because people aren't used to Kyrie's types of passes the way that they are used to Luka's passes, and people are off balance with their shooting. Dallas isn't a great 3-point shooting team, but they're a great movement team when Luka's doing the movement.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest key to success for the Celtics defensively at this point is that they have the ability with their defenders and their type of players to defend everyone one-on-one and switch. So in previous series, let's look at the Wolf series. They brought a lot of double teams on Luka to help out. That led to Luka having a high number of assists in that series. I think statistically, I heard a crazy number from the Hoop Collective that Luka on assist in that series or on passes from Luka, shooters were shooting something like 57% from the field while receiving a ball from Luka and taking a shot. That number has dropped dramatically so far in the Celtics series. And a big reason to that is they have the bodies to play Luka one-on-one. And it's taking away a lot of easy looks for the Mavericks.
Yeah, they're forcing PJ Washington, Jones, Gafford to shoot outside of themselves. And that's because they're like, hey, look, we're going to stick to you guys, and we're not just going to help and have an easy pass for an easy catch and shoot. They're making these guys have to catch the ball and put the ball on the ground. And that's not their forte. Yeah, I think PJ Washington can score, but he was the second leading scorer in game 1. You're not going to win a series if that's the case when you have Luka and Kyrie on your team. That fell right into their game plan. We're like, let Luka go off of 30, right? The old Kobe Bryant treatment in the early 2000s, post Shaq Kobe treatment. Let him go off for 50. Let him go off for 60. Shut everybody else down because you can't win a game 60 to 100, right? Like Kobe could go off for 80 points and they could lose because they're just going to close down everybody else. That's what they're doing right now with the Mavs. Is they're like, we can't really stop Luka, right? You can slow him down, you can make him fight for his shots, but he's gonna get his 25 to 30. PJ, we're gonna keep him under 10. Daniel Gafford, we're gonna make sure he doesn't get lob dunks. Same with Lively, because those are momentum changers. Those are somebody crosses up, you throw a lob, dunk. Now what happens on the other side? Block, right? Key rebound because you get energetic off of the lob. You go down the court, you throw another lob, boom, momentum shift. And those are big plays, especially on the road, that kills the crowd that they couldn't do in Boston, the past couple games.
Well, I think first of all, you have to shout out Jaylen Brown. He's been phenomenal on both ends of the court in this series, especially guarding Luka. Again, Luka's going to get his numbers. He's fantastic. He's a top 5 player in the league today. I know, like people are making case for Luka being top 2, 3, whatever. But one of the biggest things outside of just Jaylen Brown playing great defense is if you think back to that Wolves series, Mavs Wolves, a pattern we start to see emerge in that series was Luka would have a really good first half, Kyrie would come and have a good second half, or they'd flip-flop. So like Kyrie would have a really dominant first half, Luka would have a really good second half. And what that did for Luka is, I know people joke on him for being a little pudgy, but conditioning is a real thing, and it's hard to carry a team for 48 minutes by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed Luka to have possessions on the court where he's not doing everything. And he had times where he could rest. He could get a couple extra minutes on the bench. The way the Celtics are D'ing up Kyrie, it's putting everything on Luka Doncic right now.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but this man's dealing with several injuries. His knees are falling apart day by day. And now we're figuring out recently that he's dealing with a rib injury, and he's receiving, I guess I saw on ESPN this morning, that he's receiving injections, before every game because he has so much rib pain. They're basically making him do everything, and his body is breaking down throughout the playoffs. I think in general, Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics have done a phenomenal job scheming. And not only that, but I have to give shout outs to the Celtics players for having the game plan in play and sticking to it. Because a lot of times when shit hits the fan, someone gets selfish. Maybe the light's too bright for somebody. It ain't this case with the Celtics. They are sticking to their game plan from start to finish, and it's been run masterfully.
So this is one of the rare times where like you can see the difference between an experienced team that's been there in a team that really hasn't, right? And Boston's been battle tested just based off of their history. This is the first time that they have a real shot at closing the deal up 2-0. They were up 2-1 against Golden State, but that was Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson over there. Luka is good, but he's not them, right? That trio, and then obviously you had Jordan Poole when he was playing extremely well off the bench. Dante DiVincenzo helped them win. They had a better team full of role players outside of the three Hall of Famers. Dallas has Kyrie and Luka, right? So this is the best chance that Boston has had to win a championship, literally since the KG Pierce days, and you can tell that they've been here before. They're not overhyping themselves when Kristaps Porzingis is pulling up from three at the hash, or Derek White is pulling up from Derek White's hitting a corner three, or Sam Hauser. I saw him hit a shot that was like the ball barely touched his fingertips, but he was just like, we've been here before. Bang. Like it was literally a pass catch, but his wrist never left this position.
That dude
shot it. What's that?
The dude has the quickest shot I've ever seen.
It's like video game-esque. Like when he threw that up, I was like, what the hell? And catch. And it's like this team, granted, not every single one of these players were in the finals 3 years ago, but the core was, and that's the maturity that we've been waiting for this team to have, to when the shit hits the fan, to just stay level-headed. And they're doing that right now, and it's showing. Defense wins championships, but offense definitely helps you out when you can knock somebody out by hitting a shit ton of threes, and they can't.
Yeah, I do want to talk on the idea of like they got over this hurdle mentally, because I'm actually still not 100% bought in on that, and I'll tell you why afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
From the Dallas perspective, I understand why they're struggling offensively against the Celtics defense. Defensively, again, like we're going to talk about we're going to be praising Boston a lot in this podcast just because of how well they've played the first two games. This Boston team is like any other they've seen down this path. If you think back again, I keep going back to the last series when they had the surprise of the Wolves, but we knew who was going to try to eat, right? It was Ant Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's been a lot of criticism this week, especially on the first takes of the world about Jason Tatum. He's not a superstar, like he's not getting buckets, yada yada yada. I don't think this team's built to do that. The Celtics team, that is. I don't think that's what they want to do. Watching them play, it reminds me a lot of the 2016, 2015, 17 Warriors, where that ball would just hot potato. It's moving, unselfish. Do you ever watch football, soccer?
I thought the question was, have you ever watched football? And I was like, excuse me?
You watch football,
but yes, I watched football. Yes.
It all, reminds me of like the Warriors, and like, if you think of Brazilian soccer, they have the tiki-taka, which is like, basically it's like a style of soccer where it's just like touch pass. It's like you're just constantly moving. But that's the Celtics offense, and it's really hard to just put your resources to stop one guy when it's just not going to be one guy ever with the Celtics. And that's what makes this super special, the way they move the ball, the way they're unselfish. And that's the game plan from Missoula, and people buying in, because you saw Jason Kidd after game one tried to plant that seed in the water of Jaylen Brown. He's their best player. Like trying to make other guys get that selfish itch, but they did not take the bait. And I think in game two, Tatum had 12 assists, something like that.
He needed them, but yes.
He
shot absolutely horrendous game two, but he did get the 12 assists. Yes,
they stuck to their guns, and on top of that, we talk about wearing Luka down, wearing this Mavs team down. When the ball is moving like that, you are flying all over the court defensively, and I just think in general the Celtics machine is humming. We will talk in a little bit about the potential missing piece now, missing potentially with Kristaps Porzingis, but. Do you have any thoughts on the Celtics offense?
Yeah, their offense is I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about getting Luka exhausted or trying to get him to use as much energy as possible. They're attacking him, and just based off of how the internet works, how can he be the best player in the league if you can't play defense? Well, I mean, his offense is pretty damn good. So like, his offense is way up there where it kind of supersedes his bad defense.
His defense
But
is real bad in game
his
2.
defense is awful. So what they're doing, they're attacking him where he can't get fouls because of how important he is. He can't try to close out. He can't try to block somebody in the paint, because if he gets fouls, they're screwed. So he has to do the Olay. You know what I'm saying? Like not like all the time, but like Derek White will go
by him. You got to just let him go.
You have to. Like Derek White will go after him. Drew Holiday went after him. Jaylen Brown, anytime he got it. Jaylen Brown is already going to go to the hoop, but if he had Luka on him, he's like, I'm not shooting. I'm gonna try to drive and dunk on him. And because of how important Luka is on offense, he has to, I won't say give the Olay treatment, but he can't contest and potentially get 2 quick fouls in the first quarter, because it'll be a blowout. It'll be a blowout by the 3-minute mark in the first if he's not on the court. So like, he has to be the guy that like people rotate to, but everybody else is hitting threes. So like, it's a late rotation or no rotation, and you just kind of give up 2s over 3s with them.
All right, let's flip this conversation. We've been spending the whole time praising the Boston Celtics.
And you know how hard it is for me to do this?
I know. I mean, they've looked fantastic. They're 2 games.
This is so I like to throw out the disclaimer too for everybody, all the new guys and gals that are watching here on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We appreciate you all being here. The biggest Laker fan in all of the United States is right here. So for me to have to put that shit aside and compliment the Celtics, it hurts me internally. But to be fair, I will, because they're playing good. Like this keep it realistic, right? Keep it a buck is what the kids say. Like, they're playing exactly how we thought and we said they should be able to play for the past 3 years. And it's finally cultivating into a potential chance. It's not, I don't think it's over yet, but it's gotten to them to a point where this is their best chance since this team has been put together with Brown and Tatum. And I guess you could throw in there Horford, because he's kind of like the long-term bet with them. But since the core of Tatum and Brown has been together, this is their best version of themselves right now.
All right, so this is perfect. So you mentioned it's not over yet. You made that statement just now. So I want to ask you, if you're the Mavs, right? We're the front office, the coaching for the Mavs.
Mm-hmm.
How do we turn this thing around? Like, because I don't want to say the series is over. Again, the old adage is that the series doesn't start until the home team loses. Going back to Dallas, 2 games in Dallas, we know from historical data, role players play better on the road at home. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
We expect some positive regression from these Dallas Maverick players. Before I ask you the question, crazy stat: through the first 2 games, I forgot to mention this earlier, the only player in the Mavericks with more than 1 3-point shot is just Luka. Everyone else has 1 or less 3-point shots made. Kyrie has 0 through 2 games, by the way.
Yep.
Insane. I lost my train of thought. But I think I was going to ask you, like, so if you're the Mavericks, like, why should I be optimistic about potentially coming back home and winning 2 games?
You have to be optimistic because you are the Western Conference champion. We have seen other teams come back and push 5, 6, or game 7s by being down 0-2. We've seen the Chicago Bulls in early times go down 0-1 or go 2 in the 90s, and they've still come back and they've won. This isn't the Bulls, obviously, but you get my point when I say that. Luka Doncic has the ability to carry and pull this team with a bunch of role players to the finish line. This isn't a win 1. This is when you win game 2, the series is back to being not only just even, but in your favor with the momentum. Kyrie Irving needs to get back to playing Kyrie Irving and utilize what he did in Minnesota, which was move off ball, catch and shoot, and catch people off guard, versus catch the ball at half court and dribble around. ISO Kyrie is really good, but it's a hit or miss league, and you can't rely on just the fade middies, contested middies, or acrobat layups for 48 minutes, especially against one of the best defenses in the league. Everybody has length. Everybody is 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan. It's going to be extremely hard for you on that. One of the bigger points is, with Kristaps out of this most likely series, I don't think
he has not been ruled out.
He's day to day. I don't know if you risk this. I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer, but this is how I see it. If he's not in, you have to attack Al Horford. Al Horford right now he had a phenomenal game 2 or game 3 against Indy, whatever game he hit 10 threes. I don't even know. I don't care. But when he made those threes, that was the most that you got out of Al Horford. Since then, boom, he's been on a fucking spike down. And that is who you have to attack in the PNR. You have to attack him on offense. Let him be the guy that shoots off of everybody else's passes. And then hopefully it keeps it close so that you have your closers, Kyrie and Luka, help close this team out in the fourth quarter. But you have to have all of those pieces work. And it's a whole lot. I'm not ready to say it's over, but it's a one game at a time. It's a reason why it's a 7-game series.
Yeah, obviously, if Porzingis is out, it's going to change the complexion of this series. He provides really great floor spacing for the Celtics, so they can play 5 out the whole game. With him going out and having potentially Al Horford start and play extended minutes, your spacing is going to take a hit there. And then defensively, obviously, he's been phenomenal defending the paint the whole series.
You're talking about KP, not Horford.
Yeah.
Okay. When you were talking about Horford, and then I was like, Horford sure as hell hasn't been phenomenal.
Honestly, I was still thinking about that 7'3" Latvia man, but I was saying the wrong words. Appreciate it. Where was I? Oh yeah. So I think for if you're the Mavericks, obviously you're going to hope for some positive shooting regression. You're going to hope that happens, but I would like to see them push the pace more on defensive rebounds, because one-on-one they're having a tough time with these matchups. Like Kyrie has nothing for Drew Holiday and Derek White. I would like to see them push the pace, especially Kyrie getting rebounds and pushing the pace. We've seen games 1 and 2, Luka's been the primary ball handler. I would like to see Kyrie handle the ball more, push the tempo, and then we can get some bad matchups on the offensive end, some favorable matchups for yourself if you're the Mavericks on the offensive end, and then pick at those matchups again. Like the Celtics, when they have KP 1 to 5, they can pretty much switch almost everything and be okay. So if we're going to see KP out, there are places you can start attacking, and the Mavericks have made their money in this postseason attacking matchups. So that's what I'm seeing for them as far as offense. Let's push the tempo with Kyrie, try to draw early bad matchups in transition. Get your work in transition. Also, just stop being careless with the ball. Tons of turnovers leading to easy layups on the other side. That's killing you. I have an interesting philosophy for the Mavericks defensively. Hear me out on this. So whether they want to admit it or not, I know, Jason Kidd was throwing the notion out that maybe Jaylen Brown was their best player. If you watch the game and specifically Jason Tatum, they threw a lot of doubles at Jason Tatum and help. Obviously, the actions speak louder than words there. I think Jason Kidd does believe Tatum's their best player. But I would actually back off of those double teams and say, you know what, Jason Tatum?
Be that guy.
Cook, buddy. Cook. Be that MVP. Because for me, the Celtics have been such a phenomenal team, especially in this series, because of their ball movement, because of that tiki-taki passing of the ball, and just being
the app that's about to get banned in the United States. Yes.
Yeah. What was it? I forget. Tiki-taka? That's I mean, tiki-taki. Dude, you say that shit, and at the end of every podcast, it gave me thrown off. Anywho, but the Celtics have been so special because of that ball movement. I would just stick to my man. If Jason Tatum's going to cook you for 50 points, let it happen, because you know what? I bet you half of those shots are going to be poor shot selection, mid-range jump shots, fade away. Let Jason Tatum cook. Stop bringing the double. If he's going to beat you for the NBA Finals, that's fine. But bringing the help and leaving yourself open on a fourth pass in the corner for an open 3, it's not going to be the way to win the series. That's how I would approach it.
It's deflating. It's 100% deflating when you have a screen and roll, drive to the hoop, kick it out to the corner, kick it out to the hash, a drive to the hoop, kick it out to the hash, kick it out to the corner. You think he's shooting it with 5 seconds. He drives, everybody collapses, and they kick it back out to the corner for 3. It's exhausting to play 20 to 22 seconds of decent defense for it to still lead to a 3 because of over collapsing. And that's what's happening. They're not doing it every single time down the court, but they're picking and choosing when to do it. and it's hurting Dallas mentally, which sucks. But I would kind of, I guess, go with the notion of maybe you do a little bit more one-on-one defensively with Tatum. 6 for 22 is 6 for 22. I don't care what you say. There's no easy way to slice it. Stars are going to get their points, right? It's just how much can you affect everybody else? And this is where the role players for Dallas, they need to step up now. Where, I mean, the role players for Boston are all NBA players. So like they still travel, you know what I'm saying? Like they're still going to play at their top-notch level. Derek White is an all NBA defensive player.
It's phenomenal.
Holidays is an NBA champion. So like their role players are still all NBA type players, right? Versus PJ Washington, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. We haven't even seen, which I don't know if he's in the doghouse, but what the hell happened with Tim Hardaway Jr.?
He's been in the doghouse.
He was their two-way defender. He was their 6'5" with 7-foot wingspan, get to the hoop. He's not a jump shooter, but like he could get you 15, 16 points a game, like off of a mid-range or layup and get to the free throw line. They got to find somebody that can slow down, not Tatum. You need to slow down Jalen because he's catch that ball and I'm putting somebody in the rim.
Well,
I'm getting to the cup.
The Jaylen Brown thing is predicated a lot on the Celtics fast break and the turnovers by the Mavericks. Jalen's a great finisher, and he's been getting out in the break, getting easy layups and dunks off of these turnovers, and that's a huge problem for the Mavericks. I would say also maybe a key to the game for the Mavericks is that let's say Kristaps is out the next 2 games in Dallas. Mm-hmm. That means you're going to get a ton of minutes for Hauser, Pritchard, and Cornette. When you have those guys in the game, which they will have to come in the game, you just can't play 5 all game. Maybe find a way to stagger Kyrie and Luka a little more, where one of those dudes are on the court when those bench, the guys that the Celtics don't want in the game, and you can attack those guys. Because again, we talked about how dynamic that starting 5 is. Let's find ways to poke holes and win in the margins when that second unit comes in. Like maybe you lose the one-on-one matchup between first units, but if you can get a sizable advantage with your 2s plus maybe Kyrie or Luka versus 2 of those 3 subs, that could go a long way in the end game. Plus, one thing I did want to bring up that we talked on earlier, and I think this could be a huge factor for the Mavs, is first 2 games for the most part have been routes. Obviously, game 1, the Celtics went on an insane first quarter run. I forget the margin after the first quarter, but it was something more than 15 points of a lead in the first quarter for game 1. Game 2, it felt close. It was close at halftime. I think it was either tied or the Mavericks had a slight lead at halftime. Third quarter, got away from them. Celtics pulled away, but at the end, got a little dicey. I think the Mavericks were up 13 points with 3.5 minutes to go, and they cut it down to 5. I think this is a wrong opinion of the Celtics. I think they still have an issue. And we talked about it earlier about, did the Celtics get over the hump? I think the Celtics still have an issue when it comes to crunch time. Like when you need to get a bucket, like go get me a bucket to hold the lead, end this game, or get us the lead. It showed its ugly head a little bit in game 2 where they were up 13. And basically like the game was pretty much over. All the Celtics had to do was get a bucket at some point in that run to kind of extend the lead or just like fend them off. Mm-hmm. Jason Tatum tried it twice, failed. I think they had a missed 3 by Derek White in that span, and then finally Jaylen Brown with the big dunk to pretty much ice it and go back up 7. For me, if I'm the Mavericks, if you can just keep this game close and get to the end of the game within 2 minutes within like a 4-point margin, that is where I think you have a major advantage. Because while I question some of the Celtics players to get you a bucket in the very most important time, I absolutely have no question about the 2 guys on the Mavericks. If you need a bucket, like Kyrie ice in his veins and Luka Doncic, the best offensive player in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. It's just going to be extremely hard to get into that situation in itself. This isn't even really the dog on him, but like I think we undervalue, not even undervalue. I think we just undermine Tatum's finishing ability in the paint. it's not good
No.
by any means. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I think game 2 when I was like, this is the run, right? The run, I think they had like a 13-0 run that Dallas went on. I was like, you got to put the ball in the bucket. So somebody has to do it. And Tatum, you said he missed 2 of them. He went to the lane twice, and they were like very awkward drives to the hoop. He wants to step back, create space, and shoot. That's just his game. So much so that I literally watched a highlight video of him and Jalen Brunson playing each other in high school, like high school teams. And Jason Tatum was doing step back mid ranges. Like that's his thing. It's not getting like Jalen Brunson was going into the hoop, all 6 feet of him and dunking on people in high school. And then all of Tatum's were fades, step backs. That's just how he is. So if you can get him to forcefully try to get to the cup, it's going to put him in an uncomfortable situation. Whereas it's vice versa for someone like a Jaylen Brown, somebody that will end the 13-0 run because he's going to try to get to the cup. He's going to try to get to the lane and draw a foul or finish. So I'm with you on that's the recipe to try to beat this team. But it's a lot of ingredients before you get to the final quarter with 2 minutes left or for it to be a close game, 5-point game, which was a foul. They missed the shit out of that call.
The Jaylen Brown
missed the shit out of it. They pushed shit out of him back. I don't care what anybody says, but they missed it. It's a great response by Jason Kidd. Hey, they didn't call it, so it wasn't a foul. I like that. Whatever, we're done and over with. But it was sure as hell a foul. And I saw it right away. It was like, we just pushing people down, bro. What are we doing? But, if that bucket went in, we would have seen what you were talking about. Can they get a basket only up 3 where they got to put the game away versus you're up 5? There's no pressure. You missed the shot. They're still down 2 possessions.
We talk about Tatum breaking layups. Like, they weren't easy. They weren't gimme layups, but they weren't like the worst.
No, what I'm saying is he struggles to get to the hole.
Okay. He struggles to get to the hole.
Yeah.
Then his main man on the other side, Jaylen Brown, like when he's dribbling from the right side of the hoop to the left for a layup, if I'm a Celtics fan, my ass is like, like I'm so nervous because we all know his struggles with his left. And outside of that, like who else is going to get you a bucket in clutch time? I think, again, what makes the Celtics so magical is that they're a well-oiled machine, similar to the mid 2010 Warriors, where the ball is just moving. And when it comes to clutch time, it's hard to play like that just because you get a little tight, you get a little nervous, and you'd rather just get a bucket. And I just don't know if the Celtics have a get a bucket guy. Granted, both games have not been tightly contested, so this whole playoffs has been kind of like that. So we'll see if it comes down to it. I have 2 fun questions before we get off to the finals analysis because we have a couple more games coming in Dallas. We'll have 2 games in Dallas, then we'll probably meet back before Game 5 if there was a Game 5 and discuss. I think there'll be a Game 5.
I don't think this is a sweep. Yeah, that'd be very disappointing if it were a sweep.
Honest opinion right now. Your
6.
I was going to say 6 as well.
Yeah, I think Dallas takes one of these at home. Boston goes up 3-1. I think Boston drops the home game, Game 5, and I think they close it out in Game 6 at in Dallas.
I like it.
That's just how usually NBA Finals go. You get one good punch by the team that's losing, they push it to 6, but you don't get a 2016 LeBron James Cleveland down 3-1 in a comeback. You push it to 6, and then you kind of give up after that.
I'll say this, man. If for some reason it's a sweep or a gentleman's sweep, I don't want to hear anyone in the future saying that the NBA is rigged, because goddamn well Adam Silver wants this thing to go 6 or 7 because the Western and Eastern Conference Finals went a combined 9 games. No one's making money.
Oh, man.
All right, 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
Number 1, as of today, who is your Finals MVP?
I think it's a toss-up between Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I got Drew Holiday just because the defense has been fantastic.
Yeah, I know it's hard to give MVPs to people that don't really affect the box score, but they gave it to Iggy, which makes no sense why they gave it to Iggy. LeBron averaged 40, 10, and 10, and they gave it to him saying that he made him work hard. No, that's a participation trophy. Steph Curry got screwed for that. But he's like one of the only players that they did it for. You see what I'm saying? Like in the 50 NBA finals that there have been, I don't know the exact number, but since they've had an MVP trophy, the only one that got an MVP not really affecting the box score was Andre Iguodala. So the reason why I would put Drew Holiday there is because his ability to play defense 1 through 4 has affected this series substantially. But because he's not really averaging 20 and 10, 20 and 8, something like that, I think voters would give it to the guy that is averaging 20 plus points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Tatum is getting the buckets, but he's not getting the buckets efficiently enough that I think you would get, and he's not really impacting the game on offense as much, scoring wise.
Yeah.
Whereas Jaylen Brown is impacting not only scoring, but also defense, and the numbers are more efficient than Jason Tatum. So I would give the edge to Jaylen Brown. Second would be Drew Holiday, just because of the way that he's played. But it's a toss-up between those two.
I have a second question for you, but I'm kind of pissed at myself because I forgot to pull up some stats before I asked you this question before the show. And I had it up the other day. I was looking at the numbers. As of today, if you had to pick one of the two, which would it be?
Jason.
No. I like where you're going with that. The 2023-24 Boston Celtics or the 2007-2008 Boston Celtics. Better Boston Celtics team.
I'm picking KG and them.
Wow. I was wondering where you go with that.
Because they had to go through the gauntlet. Like, we're done with the 90s. This younger generation just like disrespects everything that was before 2020. And the Dwight Howard in the East, people sleep on how good that team was, and you know how good they were, obviously, for the Magic. We know how dominant LeBron James was. We know that the Pistons were still a really good team. There were really good teams in the East that the Celtics had to go up against. And then, oh, by the way, they smacked the Lakers. Like, that was a series that they went up and won in 6. They were like, we're not letting this get to 7. We're going to blow them out by 40 in game 6. That team I would take over this Celtics team. I don't think the Celtics team is bad. I just don't think that they've been as much battle tested as previous champions have been. So I would give the edge to KG, Pierce, and Ray Allen and them. They had PJ Brown, who was an incredible role player off the bench. Eddie House was an incredible 3-point shooter for them. I know there's other names. Was Tony Allen on that team? Yeah, Tony Allen, let alone playoff Rondo. Yeah, man, like that team, as much as I can't stand the Celtics, that team was damn good. And I don't think people will respect them enough to say that team was better than this Boston Celtics team right now.
It was crazy because all right, I'm going to look up the numbers. I was going to look up the statistics and see like there has to be a statistical case for this team over the 2007 Celtics. So the biggest number for me is net rating, your offensive rating versus defensive rating. I'm like, this team must be much better. They were both really fucking good net rating.
It's just pace of play. That's all it is. It's just pace now. There's just more points.
Well, there was more points scored, but also the team in this year, the Celtics team, gives up more points.
That's what I'm saying. Pace of play will
average that.
Right. That's what I mean is the Celtics in 07, 08, they could score 95 points per game and give up 84.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look as good as somebody that's giving up 100 that's scoring 126 and giving up 115. You're like, well, they scored 126. It's like, no, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's just the pace is faster.
If you look at the numbers, like their efficiencies are almost the same, identical if you just adjust for that. And then obviously the 2007 Celtics had, I think, 2 more wins. They had 66 wins versus 64. I think they had 64 wins this year, the Celtics.
64 and 18.
Yeah, so it's like 2 more wins for the old team. The only numbers that's different is 3-point shooting, but that's just a changing of the game.
Yeah, difference of the game 15 years later.
That for the 07 team was really fucking good. Like,
I know, bro. Trust me, I know. I watched it sitting there like, man, this is what we got to do with.
That's the one thing. That 07 team had killers. Like, if you need to get a bucket, Paul Pierce will get you a bucket. Absolutely. The only knock for the 07 team is I think they took the most games in NBA history to win the championship. Like, they had to go through more games than any other champion in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the
Whereas
number
this
4,
team
but I
is
would
just
imagine, yeah, this team breezed through. But I mean, you can't. So this is what I don't want either to happen, because what's it's just natural. People love to hate in this day and age. People will clown the Lakers for winning the finals.
Mickey Mouse ring.
Yes, like, oh, you had to, when the NBA players, like, that was the hardest, like, basketball, like, I would say, atmosphere of their lives, because all people did was just hoop. We,
Can I say something?
what's his name? Who's the dude that TJ Warren?
Warren.
Double Warren. Random dude was averaging like 60 a game. Like, give me a break. Who went off at 57? Was it Donovan or was it
No, that's my guy in Denver, Jamal.
okay, so it's Jamal. 57. Like, that was a thing. People were just hooping and going off. So, like, miss me with that championship in Disney was not really anything.
Low key, maybe people won't admit to this, but if you look back at that 2020 bubble, that was the best basketball I've ever seen in my life. Because that one, nobody's traveling, nobody's out partying. You just sleeping.
They were just hooping.
Yeah, it was great.
Literally wake up and just hoop, which is why I'm not still not gonna say that they won yet, but I'm not gonna dog this Celtics team too much, because they've put themselves in the position to not only be the number 1 seed, but handily 64-18 in the regular season is damn good. It's up there with one of the best regular seasons a team could have. So then if you beat the team round 1 and 5, round 2 and 4, and round 3 and 4, and then sweep the finals, that just means you're a dominant team. Now, am I going to call them the 0-1 Lakers? No, but like that they're still good for what's on the court right now. You still have to beat the other people that are NBA professional players as well, and they're just better than everybody.
Well, we got a couple of fun games ahead of us. We'll reconvene before Game 5, and
I can't stand having to give compliments to this fucking team.
I can't.
It hurts internally to have to do this.
You know what, buddy? You have to give compliments because you're a Lakers fan and you hate the Celtics, and it hurts right now. We come back next week and it's 2-2. You can dog shit all over the Celtics.
No, I'm not going to be able to, because when we come back and it's 4-0, my whole phone, every banner 19, it's all it's going to be, literally, for like the whole year. Right? So, because y'all have only seen one championship in your life. So, like, I'm not that mad.
You're good, buddy. You got the IST banner. It's all good, homie.
I like to go shot before we go to this. I'm not going to respond.
All right. So for those new to the proceedings, which is probably a lot of you, because a lot of people watching live right now, we appreciate it. Much love to y'all. We got a segment called Frizz's 5, where we basically rank shit. It's a real fun segment. Stick with us. We'll have a good time.
Prepare yourselves for the greatest and most unique segment in podcast history. Let's rank some stuff with D. It's time for Frizz's 5.
Woo! Back at it like we left something. Oh,
you are ready, homie. So yeah, we have a topic. We're going to make a top 5 list. This is a good one. D, what are we ranking this week?
Well, today, for the stupidity of the playoffs that's going on. No, I'm joking. The playoffs have been absolutely phenomenal. We love it. But we're going to rank the top 5 dumbest internet challenges that have been around.
I love it, man. This came out of nowhere 2 weeks ago. And you know what spurred it?
What's that?
I don't want to ruin the list. I think someone mentioned planking. I don't know if that's on your list. That's one of my Marvel mentions, but
we'll see.
Just the dumbest shit. So D, you'll give us your 5. I'll give you your 5, my 5, that is, and we'll see where we are. D, do you have any outside looking in?
I don't have honorable mentions. I think all of these are just dumb.
All right. Your number 5 dumbest internet challenge.
Number 5, I think it's been absolutely hilarious to see a 7-foot, 300-pound man do this on national television. People are dumb for putting this on camera. But number 5, I'm going with the ghost pepper chip challenge.
That's a 1-chip challenge?
Just the 1-chip challenge, dog. I don't care what anybody thinks that they can handle when it comes to food. But like when people take a bite of this chip and you just see their insides explode on camera, it's like, why are you risking internal like damage, like having to go to the hospital for this random ass chip. Like you're not winning bread, you're not winning any bragging rights. All you're doing is looking like a damn fool by eating a damn chip that's not meant for the human being to eat.
What are the possible outcomes of the one chip challenge? Your friends
Get your brains out. That's the
record,
outcome.
you shit your brains out. Your friends record you, laugh at you, and you make it viral for all the wrong reasons. And people have died. Actually, no joke.
Yeah, and see that I didn't go for disclaimer. I didn't go the ones that like could. I know this one technically could based off of history, but like I didn't go for like the Tide Pod shit. Like that's just dumb.
I got dive pod on mine.
I don't even need to put that in like we just know that that's just stupid. These are the ones that I have are just like things that like are dumb and can hurt you, but like none of the death stuff. So yes, Tide Pod challenge and like anything else like bleach shit. Like you're stupid. Like natural selection at its best.
Well, then our list was different. So your number 4 dumbest internet challenge / fad is.
I'm gonna go with the one that you said is an honorable mention. It's the fucking planking.
I liked planking. I thought it was fun.
Just like random people laying on benches outside of New York, like sitting in areas, not even standing, stuck together in areas that they should be in. Like, what the hell are we doing? And like, at least have some creativity. Somebody was like, this is like when the Kaepernicking was a thing. Remember
that was a Tebow.
No, well, this is what happened. It was the Kaepernick first, and then Tebow did his, and people were like, yo, he's Tebowing. It's like the man's taking a knee. 10 years later, Kaepernick got kicked out the league for doing this shit. But like y'all wanted to make this a thing about like Christianity, and it was fine. So yes, this one it's stupid because there's no creativity. There's dumb motherfuckers that are just standing places that they shouldn't stand, holding up traffic from people walking or driving because they want to plank. Like, miss me with that one, man.
And the best part was, I think back in the day when they were planking, we didn't have the camera phones. Most people didn't. We had the people had legit like digital cameras taking photos, upload them. All right, number 3 dumbest internet challenge according to D Frizzy Frizz is.
No, number 3 is definitely going to be the cinnamon challenge. What are we talking about?
Yeah, stupid.
So, like, again, this one was not death related. There have been people that have, but this is not one that you can like automatically die. Since you do dumb shit and this can happen. You play in traffic and you get hit by a car. Stupid. But the cinnamon challenge, like just what is it, a teaspoon or a tablespoon?
It's a tablespoon of cinnamon just straight to your mouth, bottoms up.
No water, no milk, nothing. Like it probably makes it even worse if you try to do those things. Like you got people that are like throwing up like their guts, like everything inside of them because you're trying to inhale cinnamon. Like, what are we doing as a society?
The thing that was dangerous is if you cough and inhale that shit into your lungs, you can get pneumonia.
Like, what are we talking about? And my guy, I'm sorry. R.I.P.
You could make it on TikTok. It's worth it, right?
TikTok wasn't even around when the cinnamon challenge started. I think it was Vine. Like, I'm pretty sure it was.
I miss Vine, by the way. Vine was dope.
Yeah, but that backflip though. Shout out to Andrew Batch, who's like actually in movies now. Like crazy, the come up from social media for him. The guy that created like the whole backflip thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in movies. He was in The Walking Dead actually on one of the episodes. I was like, oh, that's Batch.
By the way, you dig the new epic music in the background, or did it just die out on me?
Yeah.
For your epic list.
I can hear it, but it's like faint. I'm not going to keep the crowd.
All right. Number 2, D, your second dumbest internet challenge is?
You know what? Things have to come from somewhere, and everybody was at home watching because everybody was unfortunately closed down from COVID. But the stupid Bird Box challenge. Like, again, let me just put a blindfold on and I'm going to try to start cook. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to try to, where's my bottled water and drink it? Like, oh, this is the Bird Box challenge. Let me try to start my car with, a blindfold on my head. Like, this is just dumb shit. Somebody was like, oh, this movie sucks, but we're all home. We have to be at home watching it because COVID, right? Like we literally could do nothing besides watch Netflix, Hulu, whatever it was. I think I started streaming because of it. Shout out to COVID for that. But everybody watched that movie.
That's the first. Shout out COVID.
COVID-19 career. Appreciate y'all being here on Twitch. But no, at the end of the day, like because of this stupid movie, and what's her name again? The chick from
man,
Blindside, Sandra Bullock.
There you go, baby.
Like she's like a good premise of the movie, but like no, let's just if you got to cook some pancakes in the morning, just
people
were
driving like that with their blindfold on.
Everybody was doing dumb shit. Like again, these are just dumb ones. Like, give me a break. I know you're drinking some water, but do your thing for the next one.
All right, D. Let me fade up the epic music. D Frizzy Frizz's number one dumbest internet challenge is
the dumbest. It's the funniest. I'm glad that it happened because natural selection happened so easily for this. But the goddamn milk crate challenge. No, like, hear me out. So 5 through 2 were just dumb. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, that's just stupid. But number one, I loved this challenge. I absolutely loved watching people eat shit from trying to walk up milk crates and then walk down. The amount of people that busted their ass, ended up in the hospital. Like, they had people, there were cities that were like, we're not dispatching ambulance to you guys if you tell us that somebody got hurt from walking up a milk crate. Like, that's how much this internet fad took storm of the country. The emergency, like, dispatch system was like, no, we're done. We're not helping you guys out for hurting yourselves walking up milk crates. It started off with like 4, just somebody with 1, then you put 2, then you put 1 on the other side. And they were like, oh, up and down. And then they were like, wait a minute. Let's keep going. Let's make a mountain. Let's make this milk crate as high as the 2nd floor of my house. Like, these motherfuckers got to like the top. And then, you know, when it was bad, when people were like, nah, we're not trying to watch you do this like completed. And then people would kick it out like from someone. It's like the intention to hurt someone because of how dumb this was, but it was great. It was the dumbest, the worst challenge, but I absolutely loved this one.
Here's the thing about the milk crate challenge that I don't understand. And this shows you how dumb we are as a human race. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen anyone complete the milk crate challenge. I'm sure someone has. But my point is, if you've seen like 30 people before you bust their ass climbing up milk crates and get hurt, ambulance, why? Damn, headphone fell out.
Look at this. The producer.
I got so worked up. I pulled out my headphone. You think you're some special motherfucker and you can do it. Like, yeah, no, I got this. The 30 people before me busted their ass, broke their arm. No, I can do this. Wham! Come on, man.
As the guys were like, woo, 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 woo. Like, all right, get him back. Get him on there. Get him on the gurney. Get him out of here. They were like, no. Let me do this one more time. Everybody set this up. I got this. And then they throw one of the dummies into the back of the ambulance, drive him to the hospital, then just come back. Be like, yep, we got another one over here. Oh, yeah, it was a phenomenal time watching this happen.
All right, let me rip through. I liked your list, by the way.
Yeah.
List. Spoiler alert. Maybe not spoiler. My number 1 wasn't even mentioned.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so my dumbest challenges, honorable mentions, you already hit it. Planking, cinnamon challenge. I had the NyQuil chicken challenge, which, come on, man. Why are you taking a perfectly good chicken breast that probably costs like $10 now with inflation and throwing fucking NyQuil on it on a frying pan? You know that it don't taste good, first of all. You know it's not good for you, second of all. No one loves you for that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
NyQuil chicken challenge. Number 5, I found this one today, which is like completely idiotic. Have you heard of the penny challenge?
No, but does it involve ingesting it?
It involves taking a penny, putting something in an electrical socket, and sliding the penny down the little slit behind the electrical socket. So, like, you have the plug electrical socket, leave a little slit, throw a penny in there. What the fuck do you think is going to happen?
So we were all dumb enough to do the whole fork and scissors thing, and that's okay. I don't want
okay. Don't do
that. No, don't. I'm not advertising that.
We do not at the First in the Grizz officially endorse putting forks in sockets. Do not do that.
I have 2 small children, little minions. I don't endorse it. I just know when I was a child, I was like, oh, let's try this, and they're like, ooh, won't do that again. But to make it a challenge, to make it like, let's try to cheat death. That's just stupid.
All right, my number 4 is actually one that I found. I remember this happening, and this is going to blow your mind. This might be number 1 in your list.
Okay.
Do you remember the coronavirus challenge during early?
It being a challenge? I remember it being a joke.
So there was a specific challenge, and it was started by some dumbass TikTok girl where she started licking plane seats.
Oh,
And people started licking things like doorknobs and toilet seats and stuff early pandemic. It was called the coronavirus challenge. It's basically just licking nasty shit with your mouth.
was Rudy Gobert a sponsor in this one?
Yo, I gotta hit you up with the oh, there's your Kawhi. That was a good one. You get the Kawhi laugh for that one. Number 3, my number 3 is Milk Crate Challenge. I actually did this in order, like, so some of these are really dumb and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I did it like this. The more dumb and dangerous, the higher it was on my list. And then the more it affected other people, it jumps it. So like if you're not only being a dumbass to yourself, but like being a dumbass to someone else, like you're higher on my list. So I had Milk Crate number 3 because like you're only really hurting yourself. Number 2, I had the Tide Pod Challenge. No, I understand why you didn't put Tide Pod on it, but I mean, come on.
Yes, stupid.
It's chemicals you're putting in your mouth.
You're just dumb.
So many people died. Here's our number 1, and I think you might change your mind to your list after you hear number 1 because you might have overlooked this. Let me crank my epic music. There are many challenges similar to this. This is one of many. You see these viral, and I mean viral in a negative way, videos online of people doing certain things in grocery stores. One of them is the ice cream challenge, where you get a unopened thing of ice cream, pop the top, lick that shit, put the top back in, put it back in the store. I've seen similar things with people taking sodas and drinking it and spitting it back in and putting it milk on the shelf. You are a fucking piece of shit if you do that.
Punching somebody.
And I will kill you.
Yeah, this supersedes the whole elbowing for those that are new, obviously. But Frizz has a thing called elbowing. I think it's a thing that should be around where you can give someone 1 elbow per day, right? But that also means you can get elbowed. This is a supersede the elbow, and I'm literally punching you in the face if I see this happening. Like that's not even a challenge. That is just like if I had a baseball bat with me while I'm walking through the grocery store and I saw that, it's right up. I'm Sammy Sosa that bitch out the park. Like oh my goodness.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, nah, I hate those people. I hate people so much. You can go to hell.
Yes.
So that was our list. I liked our list. Good top 5. I think you did a great job. No complaints. No complaints for you. This is going to be a difficult one. I got to try to tackle the quick hits after talking for 50 minutes straight. But if I stumble over my words, you know why. All right, Snoop, get us in it.
Let's catch up on some of the sports headlines from the week. It's time for quick hits with my boy Trudeau.
All right, in the NFL, it is officially extension season. Jalen Waddle, 3-year extension, $85 million. Justin Jefferson, $140 over 4 years. Christian McCaffrey, $38 over 2. Hard Knocks, everyone's beloved football franchise, has found a home for the next year. Chicago Bears, that should be a fun one. Speaking other football, Real Madrid wins the UEFA Champions League title, the crown jewel in international soccer. Boxing, much anticipated Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight has been postponed till November 15th due to an ulcer flare by Mike Tyson. NBA, more extensions. Knicks extend Mike Brown to $8.5 million over 5 years. Lakers thought they had a wedding day match, but left at the altar by UConn coach Dan Hurley, turned down a $7 million total offer over 6 years. And more hardwood WNBA, the Suns, the Connecticut Suns, red hot, finally lose. Last unbeaten team at 9-0 lose to the Liberty. And finally, the women's Olympic roster is set. And ooh boy, are people hot and angry over that. And that is your sporting update, aka the recap over the past 2 weeks. Hope you enjoyed it. D, I know we don't have a ton of time. We're getting late in the show. We talked a lot of finals, but of those topics du jour, what do you got for me?
I mean, you can go any route. I think it was great to see a running back get paid. You know, I love the Christian McCaffrey re-signing extension. I thought that was phenomenal. I don't think he resets the market, though, unfortunately. I think it's a one-time thing. So Saquon sat out for nothing, unfortunately, for CMC to get paid. Jetta's getting paid. Is just resetting that for Jamar Chase for when he becomes the highest paid wide receiver in the history of the NFL, or CeeDee Lamb, one of them, obviously. Weird to see the whole situation with Caitlyn Clark fall out. I guess if there's an area to go to, that would be it. I'm team pro. Let the girls choose who they chose, which was the team that is there now, and let Caitlyn Clark grow into her role. Way too new. The amount of games that team has played when it comes to resting or not being able to rest, the physicality of the Olympic style, not having any chemistry with the women's team or the coaching staff. She would just be planted in there just for money reasons. So I don't see it. I think there's a bigger cash cow on the rise for the 2028 Olympics when it's on American soil in LA versus being, in 2024 now in kind of a rushed project.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Caitlyn Clark thing. I know we talked privately back and forth. It's a really hard roster to make. There's a lot of other players who probably were quote unquote snubbed before her. I think we know how sports media is. I'm not lumping us into that, but can we say the most divisive thing and get people pissed off so they watch the show and yell?
100%.
We're gonna be real with you. Was she deserving of making the roster? No. Is that okay? Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I bet she's pretty happy she gets a break, because if you look at who's played how many games, the Indiana Fever has played the most games in WNBA. They are up to, I think, 11 or 12 at this point. Girls exhausted. Women's exhausted, excuse me. She just got off of an NCAA run. It's been a long run. I'm sure she's looking forward to some much needed R&R.
For a lack of a better phrase, but they milked the shit out of that cow when it comes to getting the Indiana Fever on TV. The amount of games that their schedule, for those that don't follow it, but just go look, their schedule was the Liberty, the Aces, the Liberty, the Sun. They played the best teams in the league for 3 weeks. And it's let them rest. Let them girls just let Caitlyn Clark try to figure out how to be a professional women's basketball player. Let's not boost her into all these different areas where she's going to get scrutiny no matter what, because if she was on the team and she played, people would be up in arms. I think the phrase you said was a charity case. If she was on the team and didn't play, people would be up in arms saying, why isn't she on the court? She deserves to be there. If she doesn't go, people are up in arms because she's not there. So it's a lose-lose situation. And she's not even involved with this. She's just I just want to hoop. Let me try to win for my team. Our goal is to try to win games right now. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm thinking of who else can I remember was so polarizing recently, and it reminds me of LeBron when he made the decision. He did a thing people hated his guts, and he just everything's LeBron on sports media. This girl just hasn't done anything. She's just trying to hoop, and they've made her into such a divisive lightning rod figure. And I think it's unfair for her. She hasn't asked for any of this, and it's just they can't let it go. And the problem is, D, the WNBA is here in the spotlight, and we've talked about it privately. These sports media people like Stephen A. Smith, the big heads, they don't know anything else but Caitlyn Clark. And that's all they can talk about.
Majorly disrespectful.
Like I said, they need to get some of these women who've actually played in the game, who work for these networks, to actually be the voice for the league, because they actually understand it a little better than some of these guys that have been here for 2 weeks. That's all.
Sure. For sure. I'm with you on that.
All right. Great show. We appreciate you guys all watching live again. Much love to all y'all. We're going to get into our closing take segment. Lots of fun, and then we're going to get out of here for the night.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
Closing takes. It's a time for myself and D play a little iso ball. We were playing that tiki-taka. Tiki-taka. Passing the ball out before, but now it's time for us to do a little ISO, go off script, take a topic, whatever we want, pop culture, sports, you name it, it's your choice. D, I'm going to start us off. I saw an interesting couple of things, all came together for me last week. Darren Waller. Did you see he retired?
What a life.
Well, I'm a little worried
Oh yeah.
Our
That's what I said,
introduction, our introduction to Darren Waller was via Hard Knocks several years back with the Raiders.
Mhm.
He was a nobody trying to make the team on Hard Knocks, and you fall in love with the story of this guy who was a drug addict, and he was having a tough time. He picked himself out, got himself clean, made the team. He becomes this mega star, married to Kelsey Plum. Their marriage falls apart. His play on the field falls apart. He's making weird ass songs on the internet that he's in clowned on. I'm just saying, I hope he's okay, because someone with that history going through a lot of shit, I'm just hoping for the best. Someone reach out to him, make sure he's doing okay. Also, a message to listeners: anyone out there in your life struggling, always important, reach out, be a good friend.
I mean, that's a good message. It's a strong message. Yes, a very strange situation. I don't want to dive too much on that.
No.
For him. But I got one for you, and I'm not going to pull up, unfortunately, the Instagram post itself. We got to dip up out of here. But if you get the chance, a couple of days ago, there was an incredible charity event up in Cleveland where the Cleveland Browns football team was able to partake in a softball game. So not only did they play, were they playing softball, but the lovely, lovely 90-year-old woman that's been a Browns fan and a Cleveland Indians fan or Guardians fan for her entire life participated in this softball game. They threw a nice little underhand softball pitch to her. Bunt. Lovely. Right up the middle. Everybody's losing their mind. Like, she's running down. Oh, no. Let me get this. Nope. Because I got this. So she's chugging along down the first base line. She looks like she's an easy hit. And my guy, David Njoku, was having none of that. Not only does he gun her out at first, making it so she doesn't have to round the bases, but they were high-fiving and hip-bumping and saying, get back to the bench. It was absolutely phenomenal. First thing, Granny didn't need to be out there anyway running the bases. So for those that were like, you should have been safe. Now, get her ass out. She don't need to be running in laps from first all the way to home. But just the celebration itself, where they were like, no, this ain't going to be a happy ending. We're going to get her ass out. Gunned her out, and they were like, yeah, let's get it. High fives and fist bumps.
I don't know if you guys watching have any football player friends, but you take a football player and put them in any other sporting environment, they don't have a chill.
No.
So, when you started the story, I'm like, oh, some football player is going to be acting a fool.
So thankfully nobody got injured in the participation of this sport. But no, it was just absolutely funny. If you go take a look at it, it's on Bleacher Report. I know it's on BR Gridiron, but it's just awesome to see her bunt and everybody's cheering. The crowd's going wild, and Jogu's like, none of this. He guns her out at first.
Not today, Grandma. Hey, one thing I didn't want to mention, I wanted to play the video. I'm not going to do it today because we're running out of time. Google Eddie Hall versus Nafati brothers, or Eddie Hall versus twins. Apparently had this like renegade rogue, like maybe charity MMA league where it's just like influencers and whatnot. Eddie Hall is previously the world's strongest man.
It's and he's still,
no, this guy was like legit. Oh yeah. Sexual talk that Mark Henry. No, but this guy literally was like, Atlas Stone, world's strongest man. And he fights in MMA, these two like 5'5" twins. And it goes exactly how you would expect. He literally, it looks like.
Don't give it up for me. I want to watch.
It is I'm telling you, it is absolutely hilarious. Guys watching, Google Eddie Hall versus Nafati brothers or Eddie Hall versus twins. Play the video. It is hilarious what this giant of a man does to these two children-looking adults. Good show today. Again,
efficient.
Appreciate you guys all watching live or next day on podcast, Frizz and the Grizz. And if you're a live listener right now, go to Spotify, go to Apple, search Frizz and the Grizz, hook your boys up. We love you. Hit that subscribe, follow button, whatever it is. Much love. But D, it's time for you to kick us out of here, right?
I don't know if I love it anymore when the producer takes my plug. I can't. It's hard for me to follow up, but we all love it. Hey,
we got. I'm on one today. We got people watching. I'm just like going. I can't stop.
I think for the first time in the Frizz and the Grizz show history, we reached 3 digits when it comes to people watching. Over 100 viewers. First time that we've been able to do that, and we're here to celebrate it with you guys. So thank you for tuning in on what we thought was an incredible show. Hopefully you guys were appreciating it and thought it was an incredible show with us. That being said, Please make sure that y'all hit us up on all of our platforms and share the love. Spread it as much as you possibly can, like butter on French toast. I don't even know if you can put butter on French toast, but whatever that is.
Yeah.
Find us on, obviously, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can hit us up on YouTube, formerly known as Twitter. You can hit us up on the X. Websites at the bottom. Obviously, no ticky-tacky here, ticky-tacky, whatever the passing shit is that Trudeau was talking about throughout the show. You can find us on Facebook as well, where it looks like a lot of our viewers are watching us today. So thank you for being here. And I believe Trudeau kind of said it earlier when we were talking about Darren Waller. Everybody, be a friend, say something nice. You never know what it could do to somebody. As we say when we getting up out of here, please make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals. This is summertime, so please take care of y'all physicals. Take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all children. And we'll catch y'all on the rebound.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.